Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of Nothing Like a Good Book. Is he nuts, this one? No, I'm not nuts. I'm happy because of the guest I've got coming up. Not only is he an author, but all sorts of stuff. He's known as the Ambassador of Joy. What? The Ambassador of Joy. Yeah, happiness. Why? We're going to find all that out. His name's Barry Shaw. Oh, I've heard of that guy. What's this show about? Well, it's dedicated to authors, number one. Number two, we love to discover your book, no matter who the heck you are out there, whether it's a novel, an ebook, whatever, okay, fiction, nonfiction, by all means, let us know. We'd love to promote you. We love promoting your book, and we'd love to help you sell your book. You know, get it out of the garage. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, that's what we can do for you. And Nothing Like a Good Book is the site to go to. Nothing Like a Good Book. Have a good look around. Have a look. There's competition on there, too. You could win something. But let's talk about who I've got on today, firstly, as I do my little thingo that I normally do. A selected author for this episode. Why? Because he has did have the ideal job for a kid growing up in Boston, and he sold scorecards outside Fenway Park. From 12 to 14, he made lots of money. That was the start for him. He got some great stories from those years, and he learned important life lessons for other successful business ventures to come, which surely he has done. And he got to see dozens of Red Sox games for free. Trust him. Good on him. Who is he again? His name is Barry Shaw, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to bring him right up now. Hi, Barry. Good to see you.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Now, Mark, how can I make the categorical statement that all the thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that are tuned in to Nothing Like a Good Book are all good-looking? Because by definition, if they tune to listen to you and discover great books, it means they're always looking for and finding the good in life. That's a definition of a good-looking person. Looking for and finding the good in life. Humbled and honored to be with you today, dear, wonderful Mark Bishop.
Now, you got to tell me, ladies and gentlemen, you don't see or hear that sort of welcome much, do you? No, you do not. So, Mr. Barry Shaw, welcome on the show. You became an entrepreneur at a very young age, didn't you?
Yes.
Didn't you?
Privileged to say so. And I'll tell you, actually, I began at the age of 9, and it's because I grew up in a place called Boston, Massachusetts. For those of you who are geographically challenged, go look it up, Google it. You'll see it's in the northeast corner of the United States of America. And guess what happens in the wintertime, Mark? It's cold and overcast and rainy and snowy. And this all happened at the age of 9 on a beautiful winter's morning where it snowed somewhere around 8 or 9 inches, which means possibility of no school. Now, of course, in those days, because we're going back 60 plus years, then you had to listen to the radio to see if they're going to call school off. You listen, John D. Runkle School closed. Yay! Because you're a 9-year-old kid. Now, what do? You have two choices.
I mentioned before that you sold tickets, right, at Fenway Park.
Well, that was later. I was at 12 already. I was a seasoned entrepreneur by then. At the age of 9, I got, instead of going back to sleep or playing games, I got bundled up, long underwear, earmuffs, gloves, cup of chocolate, milk, and out the door to shovel snow, because even though school was called off, people still had to go to work, right? And there I learned some of the greatest lessons, which I took later into life at the age of 12 to 14, and at the age of 20 and 30 and 40 and 50, 60, 70 to this very day, because lessons that you learn in your youth are impressed upon your very being. They go deep into your soul, especially when you are blessed with wonderful people in your life, like my father, like Elijah. And we'll talk one or two stories. Let me just tell you the quick story.
Yeah, let's talk on Elijah. He was a wizened black man who taught you about life, right?
Now, wizened is a great word.
Even wizened, if you like.
Yeah, well depends where you're from.
I'm from another country. The water goes different down the Spain.
He's right. He's down under. Up here in America, we call it wizened. And wizened has 3 parts to it. Number 1 is wise. Number 2 is wizard-like. and number 3 means older chronologically. So here I am, 12, 13 years of age.
Right.
I am selling scorecards outside of Fenway Park. And it was a plum job. Very few kids ever got to do such a thing. Now, anybody who's ever been to Boston knows Fenway Park is the center of attraction of that amazing city. Now, it wasn't that way when I was growing up. Fenway Park was, oh, yes, the Red Sox, a great team. However, fewer people attended, but still had many thousands. And the ability to sell scorecards outside means that you could make money, have fun, and again, in those days, get into the park for free because you're a kid.
Get to see all those
Let me
games.
tell you the great news about Elijah. So Elijah, I'm selling scorecards at a place called Van Ness Street. And I'm selling, I'm not afraid to be vocal. I said, hey, scorecards. Okay, I'm a kid. What do I know?
I understand. I did the same thing at our football, Aussie Rules, outside the MCG when I was a kid. We sold records, footy records.
Right. So here you have this wonderful old, wise black man out of Central Casting, by the way. I mean, if they were making the movie, which they will someday, this is Elijah, okay? He's sitting with a big open table, 6 foot long, 8 foot wide of roasted peanuts. He puts the peanuts in bags and so he says, hey, kid, come over here. I want to hear what you do. So I'm respectful. I said, yes, sir. Come over. He said, let me hear what you do. I said, scorecards, get your scorecards. He said, okay, but he said, where's the value? Where's the value? He said, listen to me. Peanuts a dime, 3 for a quarter, 15 in the ballpark. Wow. What did he just do? Peanuts are a dime. He told him what it is. He told them 3 for a quarter. Wait a minute, that's already a good value. Guess what? Even better. They cost you 50% more in the ballpark, 15 cents each. You have 3 of those in the ballpark, it's 45 cents for 20. He said, now, what are you going to do? Let me show you what you can do with your stuff. How much are your scorecards? 8 cents. How much in the ballpark? 25. 25? Hello, kid. You just made a lot of money. Scorecards, get your scorecards. 8 cents here, 25 in the ballpark, 8 cents here. Wow.
Exactly. Boy, oh boy, what a lesson. A gross margin, the world of business.
Absolutely. Wait a minute. I want everybody to hear what Mark just said. Gross margin, net profit, the ability to give people value, to make people understand this great word called business, which my father taught me. At the age of 9, he said, hey, I came back from shoveling snow. I was paid 25 cents a week. I made $55 shoveling snow one day. I come into the house. He's making me a cup of hot chocolate made from melted chocolate bars. And he sits down. He said, my dear beloved son, who still is saying that, how'd you do? I told him I made $55. He said, great. He said, how do you spell the word business? I'm a precocious 9-year-old. B-U-S-I-N-E-S. That's right. Notice that the U comes before the I. When you take care of other people, the I will always be taken care of. So watch what happened with Elijah. He said, you're giving value. Think of the other person. And here's what happened. I went home. I told my dad. He said, wow, that's a great guy. Did you thank him? I said, I did. I'm going to thank him again. He said, here's what we're going to do. How much, when you go in the ballpark and you want to write down something on your scorecard, how do you write it? He said, I don't know. People bring a pencil, I guess, whatever they buy. Well, we're going to go out and buy pencils. We're going to cut them in half, sharpen them. And you know little pencils you have when you go play golf? Those little things? He said, okay. We figured it out. We buy pencils. In those days, it cost, a nickel. So you cut it in half, cost 2.5 cents. And I sold them for 10 cents a piece. Hello. You went from 2.5 cents to 10 cents. But even better, what were you doing? What was I doing? I was giving value to people because they came and said, yeah, well, hey, get your scorecards here, 8 cents here, 25 cents in the ballpark, and a pencil again, 20 cents for everything. Wow. So I made 2 cents on the paper. I made 7.5 cents on the pencil.
Right.
I was making almost 10 cents. And now I'm making money. I'm making $25 I made $25 for a couple hours of work 60 plus years ago.
Uh-huh. There you go.
And
So
the ball games for free, all because I had a wonderful old man who cared.
yeah,
When you care
you before
about
the eye,
others,
but that's a big thing, isn't it?
yes, care about others, guess what happens? Everything works well.
Everything works well. Now, you're also a inveterate traveler. Moving
Yes.
on a little bit, because we're going to get to books. I mean, you're on the show because you're an author as well. Who wouldn't be with what you've done? You were a big traveler, gone through this country a couple of times by the age of 18. Then at 19, you went to Europe, but on a one-way ticket.
I dropped out. I'm a college dropout. Now, I'll just fast forward to everybody. Don't get nervous. I did drop out of college. I did very well. I went back to college and graduated. It took me 8 years instead of 4 years. Who cares?
Who
I went
cares?
back and graduated. The point is, I
Right.
said, not for me now. You could go in 1967, you could go to Europe on a one-way ticket for a couple $100.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Real
said,
cheap there.
hello, why not? Now, it was interesting, by the way, talk about writing. It's very important, especially our day and age, where people are not, Mark, they're not writing enough. When I mean writing, I mean with something called a pen or a pencil, a physical element, and a
Right.
piece of paper. Now, you want to write on your tablet and things like, it's okay. If you really want to be able to communicate well, communication, again, notice that the U comes before the I. You want to
Right.
communicate well, the best thing is to understand that clarity in writing is critical. When you can do that, you can actually touch the very being of someone else. So when I got to England, I landed in London,
Right.
19-year-old kid,
Yeah.
very
What a
little.
fun
I
experience.
had $400 with me. That was it.
Right.
And they said, well, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going to travel. He said, why? You're 19, you don't know anybody here. I had one address, interesting enough.
Mhm.
And we're not going to let you stay maybe 30 days, maybe. But I want you to write for us, write an essay of why we should let you in. You hear this?
Yes.
They put me in
I'm
a room.
listening.
I had 30 minutes to write down what we used to call a well-organized essay, a WOE. I learned that in high school. Well-organized essay.
Well
And
organized.
I opened with my hook line. You grab attention, tell them what it is I want to accomplish, and then do a close in the ending paragraph. And I wrote it all out longhand. They could actually read it. It was, even though it was American, not English. And they read it and said, okay, we'll give you a 30-day visa and then get out of here.
Right.
And I did. I was in England for 30 days. I went to somebody's house who I never knew before. They didn't know me. I'm knocking on the door and I'm American. I'm open. I said, hi, my name is Barry Shore. I was referred to you by so-and-so.
Right.
And they looked at me like, okay. I entered. And that's where I learned, Mark, this wonderful situation. Ready? Everybody's going to watch is going to laugh out loud. I needed to go to the bathroom. So I asked them, can I use the bathroom? And the person looked at me. He was about my age. He was 20, I think. He was a great guy, by the way. And he looked at me with a little querulous look on his face, like, guy comes into my house and wants to use the bathroom. So he shows me upstairs to the bathroom because the bathroom had a bath.
Funny about that.
Right, because he said, oh, you really mean the WC, the toilet, which was in a different room adjacent. So again, growing up in America, we use bathroom as a catch-all, right?
Right.
There's a bath and a toilet in it. Not in England in those days. And by the way, in those days also, I stayed with a number of people that he recommended who still had WCs out in their backyard.
Yeah, the Dunnies, the outback, the outhouse.
60 plus years ago. So I talk about culture shift.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was wonderful, but that was only the beginning because that whole trip lasted almost 3 years.
You did a lot in that time. Many great
we
scholars.
had so much fun. We
I
did
bet
so
you
many.
would have been. There were a group of you. Weren't, didn't you hook up with about 12 or something? There was a group of you that traveled across Europe?
Say again?
Wasn't there a group of you, about 12 of you?
Yeah, there were 12 of us we were in Amsterdam. Now, Amsterdam in those days, again, late 60s, was the crossroads of the world for travelers. Anybody wants to see an interesting movie, it's worth it to see. It's called The Endless Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Made in 1966. And again, it was about surfers chasing the endless waves of summer around the world for the whole. And it was a different world because there were people, I'm telling you, Mark, from everywhere in the world, every race, every color, every creed, every language, gathered in a place called Dam Square in Amsterdam. I was privileged to join a group, about 12 of us, and we occupied what was called in those days a crack house. Now, it doesn't mean crack, meaning smoking terrible stuff. It meant a house that had no electricity, no running water, and it was a 5-story narrow house in Amsterdam on a major canal that was unoccupied. In those days, if you occupied, you can live there. Now, if you don't have running water, you don't have electricity, well, that's a little bit difficult. Well, there were 12 of us and we're kids. So we learned how to hook up electricity and bring in water. And
there you go. And you had it all.
You learn.
3 years.
Genius of travel. You learn.
Wonderful. Traveling, I still think, Barry, that traveling is the best education, for children.
Absolutely.
For young people that you could possibly do. Now, did you end up also, I think you went to Free University, F-R-E-I?
Yes.
Frey or Free?
We call it the Frey University.
The Frey University in Amsterdam.
My brother's Frey, it was, yes, it was what, in those days, for want of a better term, you call it Open University. And by the way, they were just beginning in the United States of America. I had a high school teacher who started an open university in New Hampshire. There was one in Vermont, like Bennington. I mean, just things were happening in the late 60s. It was a time of possibility, of endless adventure, of openness. It was not a time of, today we're in, I believe, a time of contraction. It was a time of expansion, of opportunity.
Yeah, different world then, wasn't it? Well and truly. We're going to go to your books in just a sec, otherwise we'll run out of time. But
oh my gosh, we don't want to do that.
From Europe, right? A big trip to remember. And you did what I wanted to do when I was young. I got to Amsterdam, but I didn't have a VW bus like you did, heading all across. That reminded me of a wonderful movie. It was Albert Finney and I think Audrey Hepburn, and it was called Two for the Road. And they met, he was an architect, they met in Europe. She was with a bunch of girls, they had a VW Combi, and that was the car of the time. Even in Australia, we used it for surfing, and, the VW Combi was such a popular thing. Oh, that was unbelievable.
And
you went through Sarajevo, Palestine, camping in Dubrovnik.
We went, just places you can't imagine. When we went to what we used to call Yugoslavia, they still had pictures of Tito hanging up in gas stations and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It was a completely different world. Albania, you couldn't go into except we did. And in Dubrovnik today is one of the most luxurious places for people to go visit. Very high end. It's like, now, when we went there, it was an old city, walled city from
like everywhere else. Well, you returned, the prodigal son. You eventually got back to America.
Got back to America, graduated college.
Bit of an entrepreneur, done all sorts of things, blah, blah, blah. But when did you start actually writing? And when did, I think the very first book was this one here, right? The Joy of Living. Is that correct?
Oh, look at that book. Look at that face. Notice it says The Joy of Living. You deserve it.
You deserve it. All right.
This book was written, I composed it over the course of a few years. However, we published it just about 5 years ago. And it came about because of something very important in my life. At the age of 55, Mark, I was standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leave tall buildings in a single bound. In the evening, I was in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed, my neck down. And it was not from an automobile accident, wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease that took over my body and rendered me quadriplegic, paralyzed, neck down, could only communicate by blinking my eyes.
Unbelievable. All in one day. You get up, you're fine, you get out of bed, you get dressed, everything's terrific. By nighttime, you're a quadriplegic.
144 days in the hospital, 2 years in a hospital bed, my own home, I couldn't move, 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, and my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant because one word. One word, Mr. Bishop. Smile. Because SMILE is an acronym that stands for Seeing Miracles in Life Every Day. I am known also as the ambassador of joy and the king of acronyms. Matter of fact, my second book is called Pocketful of Acronyms.
Pocketful of Acronyms, which is this one here, correct?
Yeah, and they're wonderful because they bring out the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant essence of all the words. Notice that acronym stands for all concepts relating optimally and neurologically to your mind's strength. Right. That's the genius of an acronym, because when you have a word and you make it into something useful, it becomes a hook. So you can now understand that when I talk about the FU 4-letter word, the 4-letter FU word we use is fun. Fun. Yeah. That's right. FU, capital N, capital N. I won't tell you the acronym, but now you can understand. So I became a prolific author. I've published, thank God, written and published now. We're up to 4 books, and we'll show one of them in just a moment. Right. However, I just want to make mention to people that the book that you really want to begin with, The Joy of Living, will make a difference in your life. Now, what we call going mad. MAD stands for make a difference. Because when you read this book and you use this book, and because it has things to use it, not just to read, it's not just a story. You learn the story of Elijah. You learn the story of different people that I met, of Aida and such. This talks about the 11 different processes that we use to learn how to live in joy daily, no matter your circumstances. Nobody should be devoid of living in joy, no matter what's going on in your life. And I show you 11 strategies, and you use even 1 or 2 of these, and it will cause a shift in your perspective. And when you shift your perspective, you got to keep the F in place or the other stuff happens. So if you're going to show my next book after Pocketful of Acronyms, is called, let me see.
That was the Pocketful of Acronyms. And then the book after that.
Is not that one. It's the one called Shift.
Shift.
Now notice how we did this. We did it with Scrabble tiles, and you got to keep your F in place, or the other stuff happens.
Right.
Because when you shift your perspective, what you're able to do is internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And these are: choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Right. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. So you want to learn how to shift your perspective. Get this book also. And again, use it. Don't just get it. Read it, use it, recommend it to other people, because it makes a difference in your life, in the life of everybody around you.
That's why you're here on the show, Baz, because these books do what you say they do. The reports and the reviews have been fantastic on it. You did mention there was one more. I brought it up a little early, but the reframing.
This is our latest book.
Did this come about because of your condition?
Yes. So this came about, and we in this wonderful, amazing, beautiful book, which talks about the lives of, I think, 11 different people. I'll give you a quick example. One of them is an amazing man. His name is Frank Shankwitz. The name doesn't mean much to anybody. However, what he built does mean a lot to millions of people. It's called the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, yes.
And it all started with my friend Frank Shankwitz, who unfortunately has left us physically. He's still here, in his transcendent being. And it's about what he and I both call reframing situations, the art of living. Because when you do that, you change everything. You change your perspective, you cause a shift, you live in joy, and these different stories highlighting people, each one of whom was able to do that, to reframe situation. They understood that what people call, things happen to you. Once you make a shift and you realize you'll never use that word again, you'll say things happen for you. You want to move the to, T-O, into F-O-R. When you do that, you allow the creator to be involved in your life. And guess what happens? Everything comes out for the better. That's called reframing, the art of living.
Reframe. All of these books, by the way, folks, they're available on Amazon, but they're also available on this particular site. This is barryshore.com.
barryshore.com. You got to go there. It's a fabulous site. A lot of free stuff available.
It
also.
is a good site. A lot of stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of free stuff too. Free.
Free. And then, by the way, it's a great acronym. You'll read it in the book of acronyms. Free.
For a person, I mean, no wonder you wrote. I mean, for a person that's been through a serious, neurological disorder and becoming a quadriplegic, I find it incredible that you are known as the ambassador of joy. Your crippling demise, I mean, anybody else could have just maybe pulled the pin, given up, didn't matter. Where did you draw all of this from, Barry? Where did you draw this fight from?
This, in the book, Reframing the Art of Living, one of the people that's highlighted in here is a woman named Frances Ida Goldstein, who was married to a man named Bernard Shore. So she became FIGS, Frances Ida Goldstein Shore, my mother. So a lot of my positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant attitude and outlook on life came from my mother, who was born, Mark, with a red wine stain around 3/4 of her face. Now, imagine in today's world, people talk about bullying at school, right? Kids bullying. Okay. Imagine 100+ years ago, if you saw somebody who had red wine stain on their face. Kids are kids. They bully.
Yes.
You would think.
I can imagine the comments wouldn't have been very nice.
What a world for a woman to grow up, a girl to grow up in a woman. My mother didn't just, okay, hey, it is what it is, and I'll get through it. She used it as her lever, as her fulcrum to say, hey, that's their problem, not mine. Now, she got that from her mother.
Right.
And she lived in such a state of joy and happiness. By the way, I want to share with everybody the word joy. This is really important for you all to hold on to. The word joy, 3 letters, stands for journey of you. Everybody has a journey of you. That's your joy in life. So my mother didn't just live through it. She became, as she says, better because of it. She recognized it was done for her. She grew up. She was lively. She married a wonderful, handsome, dynamic man, 3 fabulous children, of whom I am the oldest. And everything I learned about the ability to live in joy daily is from my mother. She was a model. What a wonderful model to have.
What a wonderful mom. You're a best-selling author. I've shown all of those. This is the baby you really want to get out, though, isn't it? This one here, The Joy of Living, right? The Joy of Living. There's a lot in this for people to learn, to help get through things, right?
Yeah, people love it. Look, one of the great introductions was written by an amazing man named Jack Canfield. You see his endorsement. So Jack Canfield, talk about authors, he and his partner are the co-authors of the largest selling title in the history of printing. Next, the first one is the Bible. The second one is what Jack and his partner did, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
I forget her name right now. Who co-wrote that with him?
Mark Victor Hansen. Mark Victor Hansen.
But he had a female also co-write that with him, didn't he?
No, those were the 2 who wrote it.
Oh, okay.
And the Chicken Soup for the Soul, that was the first book, and then had 19 or 20 line extensions. Chicken Soup for for people with cancer, for all kinds of things. The point is, Jack wrote the introduction, and he's the one who says, you got to get this book, because he said these great words. If you do this, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
The author of the best.
You're a best-selling author too. You're a successful podcaster as well. More than 8 million downloads. Wouldn't mind borrowing a few of those from you. A sought-after business consultant and coach now. All going back, I think back there you are, out at Fenway Park with
right.
Fella, and look at you now. You've been married for 47 years. That's a nice little trip. 2 grandchildren. Very nice. Now, you also found, nurtured, and grew the worldwide Keep Smiling movement. I thought I had a shot of that somewhere, but I don't know what's happened
Well,
to
you
it.
know something? Let me just hold it up here. And maybe,
Yeah, let's put that on. I'm going to put this one up because to meet you, you're very diverse. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. That's it. Stay there. Keep smiling, says the card. No other junk on it, right? Just big letters of keep smiling. Now,
right.
how did that? What was that?
Well,
What did
this
you
is
do
a
with it?
fabulous story, and I think it's documented in the first book. Uh, a friend of mine from New York, a rabbi, can you imagine that? Jewish a rabbi, sends me a card one day
Uh-huh.
that reads, "Keep smiling," just like that, out of the blue. I was fine. He was a friend of mine. He just said, enjoy it. I looked at the card. I said, this is wonderful. I went to my friend Danny, the printer, who was around the corner from me, and I asked him, can you make me some copies? Can you make me 100 copies of this? So he made 100 cards like that. And I started giving them out. And I called my friend in New York, and I said to him, his name is Robert Goldberg, and I said, thank you so much for the card, and I'm making copies and giving them out. Is that okay? And he laughed out loud over the phone. He said, hello, that's why I sent it to you. I was expecting you would do that. Okay, I'm going to make the story very short. I'm going to tell you 3 big points. So I gave out, Danny made 100. I gave them out within, a week or so, because I started giving out Keep Smiling cards. People said, wow, this is great. Thank you. Okay. I went back to Danny. I said, make me 1,000. Okay, he printed me 1,000, right? What's the big deal? I'm paying, he's printing. And we gave out 1,000. It took me 2 months. And by that time, what was happening, Mark, I was giving them out, and people would ask, may I have a couple more? So I realized, wow, it's not just somebody wants one. They want to start passing them on. So after 2 months, I gave out 1,000. I went back and said, Danny, 10,000. He looks at me and said, wait a minute, that's real money. I said, 10,000.
You're right.
And now
you were paying that, right?
I'm paying. And we started giving them out, and it caught on, Mark. And we had some people asking, give me 100, give me 200, give me that. And within 6 months, we had given out 10,000.
Yeah, so I've got a bottom line here of 9.2 million.
No, thank God. We have given out in the past 20 years 9.2 million cards, all for free, in 27 languages. Not just Keep Smiling in English, Keep Smiling in 27 languages, people all over the world. And here's where it gets really cool. You can go to barryshore.com, which everybody here listening should go there. Click on Keep Smiling, and you can send out these Keep Smiling cards and joy cards. We have so many inspirational joy cards now. You can send them out via WhatsApp and text, all kinds of ways to send it to email and such to people anywhere in the world, all for free.
Well, they must have caught on. Saves lives, enhances marriages, help people to live happier, healthier lives, all because of 2 words, really, just keep smiling, no matter what. Keep smiling.
And it saves people's lives. We have documented over 13 people did not commit suicide.
Isn't that fabulous?
Because of this card.
Wow.
By the way.
None of the stuff you've done. Look at it all. All of this, but you've done with the help, remarkable, wonderful, as you say, wonderful, loving beings that have come into your life who understand that the joy of living, can be summed up in a word, right? What is that word, Barry?
Giving. When you shift your perspective and choose to be a giver in life, a willing giver, everything benefits. Everything. Right. You become better. The people you interact with, your family, your friends, your coworkers, people in the street.
It's catchy.
Yes, it's infectious. This is the infection that we want everybody in the world to catch and to pass on. We can shift the energy of the planet into good. And it just takes one word, smile. SMILE, by the way, is a great acronym. We have a card that reads SMILE. And on the back, when you turn it over, it reads, SMILE stands for Seeing Miracles in Life Every Day.
Well, there you go. I mean, talk about the man of acronyms, eh? Now, barryshaw.com, folks, is where you can buy the books direct and cheaper, apparently. But of course, you know, they're always available here. Amazon.com, pretty big shop, that one. And but if you go there directly with Barry, you can get it a little bit less. And here, see this slide here? The Ambassador of Joy, we've shown that. This was the latest book, by the way, right? The Joy of Living. There's a lot of stuff in there. You actually want to get hold of that one if you can. The Ambassador of Joy, he is a serial entrepreneur. He learned very young. Another lesson out of this particular interview with this author, but a different side, you know, story to this, is somebody who, against all adverse conditions, no matter what, made it all happen. And you can too. He's a philanthropist, a former quadriplegic, as we talked about, a distance swimmer. Now, that's something I wanted to touch on. You've done some incredible swimming here. Give us a short story.
Okay.
On whatever your escapades.
So again, standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty. In the evening, quadriplegic.
Stone the crows, right.
Change of life. So for years, I can't move. We had a dear friend who lived nearby.
Well, what was it called? What did the docs figure out?
It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain is William in French, and it's named for two French doctors, also known as French polio. GBS for the cognoscenti. You read about in the book. So it, again, comes for a lot of people who get it. It's a very rare disease, 1 out of every 200,000 people.
Unbelievable. And you were the one. You were one of them. Anyway.
Most people who get it within 6 months or 12 months regain whatever they had. So the good Lord loves me a little more. And he said, I need you to be,
You're the ambassador of joy, my friend. I need you.
Now, people watching, by the way, say, hey, look at Barry Shaw's cured. Well, I can't get up from the chair. I'm still basically paralyzed from the waist down. But here's what gets really cool. So I had a close friend who lived nearby, a neighbor, who is the world's greatest aquatic therapist. How do I know that? Because he told me. I love people who are positive, purposeful. He said, I'm going to get you in the water. We're going to have you up and walking within a year. Okay, look, I listen to people who are smart and capable. Okay, it didn't happen that way. However, what it did happen was actually even better. So we were able, after a few years of being paralyzed, get me to a pool. Now, in America, we are a blessed country, and we have these things called Hoyer lifts. So you get from the wheelchair onto a special lift, and the lift goes in and brings you into the water, and then they put flotation, all devices on my hands and my legs and my body, and people moving me just to try and stimulate movement. Okay.
Right.
It took a year and a half before one day, I moved my left arm over my shoulder. That was amazing. I moved my right arm. I couldn't move my legs, but I did 2 or 3 of those, and I moved. I was actually doing a backstroke. I hit my head against the side of the pool and it hurt. And I said, yay. I was able to turn myself around, somehow push off from the side of the pool. And here's where it gets really beautiful for everybody listening. I didn't want to stop. They wanted to stop me. I said, please don't touch me. And I kept doing that movement with these flotation devices on me, 92 minutes. Now, I hadn't moved in years.
Right.
So to be able to do that,
it's a miracle of its own right. Yeah.
I essentially swam a mile. Okay. So we got out of the pool. People are applauding. It was wonderful. It was a major breakthrough in my life.
Must have made
We said, look, if you can do it once unconsciously, I could do it again consciously. So I started going to the pool. Once a week, I would do a mile. Then twice a week. Then 3 times. Because I'm persistent, right? 4 times, 5. I was not a swimmer before. I knew how to swim, but I didn't swim. And then I got to the point where I was able to swim every day for a mile, 5 days a week, then 6 days a week. And then one day eventually, with just flotation devices on my legs and paddles on my hand and a snorkel, able to turn on my tummy, and I'll make the story very short. I now swim, Mark Bishop, 2 miles a day, 6 days a week. I've been doing that for more than 15 years, and I have more than 10,400 miles under my belt. And I swim for one reason only, not just because it makes me healthy and I have a
Right.
great tan because I swim outdoors and such. I swim for all the people in the world who say, I can't, I can't.
I can.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. Motion is lotion, says Jack LaLanne.
Motion explosion. Oh, holy believable. Unbelievable. I'm surprised you haven't swum the English Channel or some damn thing, to be honest with you. Oh, Barry, look, it's been an absolute pleasure here. There's so many things. We could spend 4 hours. Lots and lots and lots of picks. The name of the fellow is Barry Shaw. He is the ambassador of joy. This is his latest book that he'd love you to get hold of because there's so many good words in there. He's an author. He's a writer. He's a thinker. But there's so many good words in there that can help you. That's his biggest drive. That's why I wanted him on the show, because not only is he a bubble of joy, makes you happy, in a very tough world at the moment, but there's a lot of people suffering a lot worse than us. And he's proven that no matter what the good Lord puts in front of you, it's a test only. You can do better and you can do wonderful things. I mean, look at this guy. No excuses. Is that right, mate? No excuses. Unbelievable. So which is your favorite of all of these? Honestly, which is your favorite one? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite one for people is the acronyms because they're just so much fun.
The pocket
Every time you look, you'll see and you'll learn and you'll share with other people.
Right.
Because share is a great acronym. Spreading
who's Dr.
happiness.
Smiley when he's home or she's home?
Dr. Smiley is a friend of mine. He's a publisher. He's a great guy. And I met him at a conference. And he was walking by and had a great smile on his face. So I gave him a cute smiling card. And as he tells the story,
right,
that changed his life. Over the past 8 years, he has dedicated himself to spreading smiles around the world. He now is called Dr. Smiley. He is a photographer of the first order. And you go to barryshaw.com, you'll see some of the major celebrities that are holding the Keep Smiling card all around the world. He himself has helped give out maybe 500,000 cards.
Good
I mean,
Lord.
So we collaborate. I love working with people who get the gig, like Mark Bishop. Mark gets the gig. What's the gig? Nothing like a good book. And reading is, in my humble opinion, reading and writing. However, reading will cause you to be a better writer because you learn how to communicate well. Reading is the necessary skill in this age of AI. Let me tell everybody what AI stands for. AI stands for always improving. That's really what AI is. You want to call it artificial intelligence? Great. AI stands for always improving. When that is your mindset, you will always be successful. Impossible to fail. That's what my mother taught me. That's what my father taught me.
Right.
You cannot fail.
No. The last little plug I want to give you, because I'm looking forward to this when it gets out. Do you want to talk about it? The founder of the Everywhere Card. What is the Everywhere Card?
Well, you'll have to have me back. The Everywhere, let me just tell everybody the mission. The mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. How do you do that, Barry?
Hang on a minute, I'm introducing this. Here's give $1 billion. And but someone is going to have to, but it doesn't cost me a penny. It costs, huh?
Right.
Wow. I can't wait till this comes out. You got to come back. And when this is all happening and released and this and that, you'll come back on the show.
Right.
We'll do it on the Mark Bishop Show. And we'll talk about this Everywhere Card, because just the snippet that I've read excites me. Never mind what it's going to do for billions of people around the world.
Right.
Amazing.
You want to give everybody a big hug. Let me tell you what that stands for. And a blessing. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Here we come. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that feels
and a blessing
good.
from Mark Bishop and Barry Shaw, the ambassador of joy. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love.
Oh, Barry, I tell you what, it's been absolutely amazing. Folks, before we go, that's the website, barryshaw.com. All right, write it down quick, get a pen. All right, barryshaw.com. And the books are available on Amazon And the books are available directly. You can buy directly off his site, barryshaw.com, if you'd like to. Okay? barryshaw.com. And he's known as the ambassador of joy. Yes, I know, Mark. Don't give up your day job, as they say. Thank you, Barry. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care. God bless. And all the wonderful work that you're doing. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Wow. Well, I'm always elated by the time I finish with Barry. He puts joy into your heart. I love that hug one, hug. There you go. All those different acronyms. But the books are terrific. You'll learn a lot from this guy. Just to think about, how would you be? Put yourself in his shoes for a second. Life's going on. It's normal. You get up one morning, you expect for another day, and all of a sudden you're quadriplegic. Huh? Can't do anything from the neck down. Did that stop him? No. It only started him. Isn't that amazing? I hope you enjoyed today, this episode. Remember, nothinglikeagoodbook.com. Go to the site. All sorts of books are there. All the authors that I've interviewed, and there's reviews and there's competitions, all sorts of stuff. And if I can help you in any way, we will. Get in touch with me. Mark at NLGB.info is the address. Mark, M-A-R-K, and Nothing Like a Good Book. Short, though, for you. NLGB.info. I'd love to hear from you.